So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at some examples of how to compare and order our real numbers and how to place them on a number line where they'd fall by looking at orders. And to do that, we're going to be changing them all into a decimal like the lesson said. So I wanted to just show you an example, but I wanted to show you how you would do this with your calculator as well. So I have that up on the screen. So that's what you're going to be wanting to use when you do these problems as well. This is your virtual calculator you have on your computer. So the first thing you want to do is turn it on by clicking on this little black button at the bottom left. You can click it on. When it's on, it has that blinking box there. Then you want to click on the clear button to make sure that nothing else that had been worked on in the past is still following along or involved in that at all. So now what we want to do is work on getting each of these numbers into decimal form if they are not already. So the first thing I'm going to do is work on the square root of 8. To get a square root, you need to hit the second button, which means that the next button I click on will pull whatever yellow operation I have above the numbers. So the little arrow shows you that now you're shifting it up to the second yellow like it says. So this x squared key has the square root symbol. So I click on that and then I'm going to type the letter 8. And again, you can use your mouse to click on the buttons here, or you can type the numbers from your keyboard and some of the other functions as well. But for some of them, you're going to need to use your mouse. But either way works. Then you're going to close the parentheses and hit enter. Enter is just going to find your answer. All right, so we have this decimal here, and you can see that it's going to be a number that goes on and on. This is an irrational number. But let's just pull a few of the decimal places. So, oops, I wrote that backwards. So 2.8284. I'd pick right 3 or 4 decimal places just so we have a good way to compare. All right, now we're going to change. Now we're going to do 9/5. So in order to figure out a decimal of a fraction, we divide the numbers. I'm going to do 9 divided by 5, and you can see it shows up looking like a fraction on the screen anyway. Hit enter, and I get 1.8. This is already in decimal form, so I don't have to do anything there. And then 2/3, I'm going to type that into my calculator by doing 2 divided by 3, and then enter. And that's going to be 0. This is actually 6 repeating. The 7 on the end is just saying that it's rounding that last number because the computer has no more places to fill in there, but it is actually just a 6 repeating. So now I'm going to compare all these. If we look at this, the negative, I have one negative and the rest are positive. So I already know that this one is going to be my first number because it's the smallest since it's negative. From that point, I'm comparing the other 3 numbers and I'm looking at them decimal by decimal, place by place. And if you look at just the whole number portion, which is to the left of the decimal, I have a 2, a 1, and a 0. So even in that sense, looking at those 3, I should be able to compare them. That means that 2/3 is going to be next. I don't want to rewrite it yet. 2/3 is going to be the next one. Remember, we're going from least to greatest, so smallest to largest. And then after that, it would go 1.8 because of the 1, and then the 2 would be the next largest. So you're just comparing point by point. So I'm going to list them in order in the way they were originally written. So I'm going to do 2/3. Oops, that's the second one. Let's not forget our negative. Negative 0.4. 2/3. You don't want to give me the decimals. You want to rewrite the numbers as you were originally given to them. 9/5 and square root of 8. So there we go. There's our numbers in order from least to greatest. All right, let's do one more example. And now I'm going to do this one with a number line. So in order to do this, once I put them on the number line, I'll be able to see how they fall as far as their order from least to greatest, but I still want to change them all into decimals so that I can put them on the number line first. So again, I'm just going to start with square root of 2. Click that second button and then the x squared, so it pulls the square root button. Type the number 2 and the parentheses here and hit enter. And you can see that I have come up with it's an irrational number, so it's going to be this long number that's not repeating, there's no pattern there. But again, just think about like 2 or 3 decimal places for this one, since we're just using it to find where it goes on the number line. Then I'm going to do negative square root of 16 over 2. Now for this one you want to be careful. Oops. You want to make sure when you're typing it, you're typing exactly what you want it to do. So I'm ending the parentheses to make sure that it only takes the square root of 16. If I didn't end the parentheses, this is DEL means delete, in case you want to just delete each piece on the end. You don't have to clear the whole option right here, this DEL button. If I were to just do square root of 16 divided by 2 like this, the calculator would think that you want to do the square root of 16 divided by 2. But that's not what we want to do. We want to do the square root of 16, so I end the parentheses, then divide, then 2. So a lot of times when you have mistakes because of the answer you got on the calculator, a lot of times we call that a user error. It's because you made the error, the operator that was typing everything in made an error. So the nice thing about these screens is that you can see exactly how you typed it in, so you can always go back and check to make sure that you typed it in, that it's doing exactly what you want it to do. All right, now we're going to hit enter, and that actually gives me just a negative 2 when it all simplifies. 0 divided by 3, you can type that in, but you should know that that just gives you 0. Negative 3.1 is already a decimal, and then 2 4/5. Now if I have a 2 4/5, this mixed number, the 2 is going to be my whole number in the decimal. The 4/5 is the portion, the part of the number. So I'm going to just find the decimal for 4/5 by doing 4 divided by 5, enter, so 0.8. So this number would be 2.8. All right, now I'm going to place all these numbers on the number line and rewriting the original numbers as I have them here. So square root of 2 is 1.41, so that would be about here. Negative square root of 16 over 2 is at negative 2, so right here. Zero. Right here for 0 divided by 3. Negative 3.1 would be just past the negative 3. And 2 4/5 is 2.8, so up closer to 3 here. All right, so there we go. So keep in mind when you're doing these to make sure that you change them into decimal form and then go from there. And if you're using the calculator like we did with a lot of these examples, that is fine. Just make sure that you're plugging them in carefully, slowly, and exactly how you are reading them. If you have any questions or need some more examples, please let me know.